addressing us on the topic of cooperative federalism and GST. Mr. Anwar is currently a Joint Commissioner at the Directorate of Commercial Taxes with the Government of West Bengal. Sir is a chartered accountant by profession and frequently delivers lectures pertaining to various state taxes at forums such as ASSOCHAM and FICCI. Sir is also very deeply involved in the conception of the VAT legislation and the anatomy of the GST. Sir, it's an honor to have you here, and we would now like to hear you. Thank you so much, sir.
I'd like to start from where Dr. Vijay Kumar ended. I was just worrying why in the council every time some decision was to be taken, the basic thing was some of the states which were not agreeing to certain proposals, they were starting counting how many states they have on their side. Because assuming some voting process takes place. But so far, I saw the Union FM always saying that no, we are not going to have any votes, we will go by a unanimous decision. And so far, amazingly you may say, but whatever decisions we have taken, it has been a unanimous decision. Almost all. Every decision so far. Now coming back to the center-state relation, see from the state side what our worry was. Our basic worry was, in Bengal, if I have to talk about Bengal, see we are a consuming state. First of all, our worry was, today whatever tax I am getting, what will happen tomorrow? IGST is coming into place. I'll give you a very good example. See why, what a concern basically of the consuming state was. See, most of the goods comes from outside the state. When it is imported into the state, and when the tax is levied on the import, whatever may be the rate of tax, whether it's 10% or 20%, I get it straight away. Right? I import into Bengal, say from Maharashtra, goods worth ₹100, rate of tax is 20%. The moment I make a sale over here, I straight away get 20% of 100. Now what is going to happen in GST? GST, if 100 rupees worth of goods is coming from outside the state and the rate of tax happens to be say 10%, I need to get 10 rupees, but I will not be getting it straight away 10 rupees on the very first day of sale, as because the goods that I have imported from outside, I am entitled to IGST credit. That credit will be utilized for payment of the local tax over here. So today I am getting straight away, assuming the rate is 10%, on 100 I am straight away getting today 10 rupees. But tomorrow, when GST comes, I will not be getting 10 rupees on the first day. I will be getting how much? Because the person who has imported, the assessee, in respect of 100 rupees, 10 rupees if is the tax that is payable, he is going to utilize the IGST credit for payment of that. So I may get much less than 10 rupees, and for the balance I will have to wait till the center transfer that IGST money to me. So this GST, as far as the consuming state is concerned, basically the IGST flow needs to take place. From where the IGST credit will come? From where this IGST money will come? The IGST money will flow from the manufacturing state to the consuming state. In between is the center. Manufacturing state need to transfer the IGST money to the center, and then the center will pass it on to me. The worry was, what happens if the manufacturing state delays the transfer? Then will my transfer also get delayed? The worry was this. This was the first worry, the first concern. We are talking about compensation. Now it has been agreed upon that 14% per annum the growth will be considered on a base of 215-16. That's okay. But the real concern was what will happen to this and how this IGST mechanism will work. IGST, nowhere it has been tested. It's an indigenous product. We have thought about it because there is no other way how you can manage it. But the real worry of the consuming state was this, how it will happen. So the first thing that the states wanted, that there should be a promise that yes, you are going to compensate me for any loss. First it was said that we will compensate you maybe towards the end of the year because then only the accounts will be finalized. Now it has been decided that no, it will be bi-monthly. That is what the compensation law, as it has been passed by the council, it says that this compensation will be calculated bi-monthly. Now coming back to IGST, the another issue was that there will maybe IGST, as Dr. Gopakumar Saab was saying, that at the end of the year some balance may remain in IGST. What will happen to that? And assuming the IGST goes into the consolidated fund of India, then the transfer itself will take time. It will not be so easy to transfer money from the center to the states. How that money, and IGST, please understand, is a summation of what the central GST and a state GST. So in IGST there is a component of central GST also which needs to be devolved under 272, Article 272. That was the whole objective. Now what happens to the balance that may remain at the end of the year? There is no chance, but assuming hypothetically that there is some balance at the end, so that also needs to be devolved. That is what the constitution we found from the state side, that it was not very clear. So it was decided that we should have a clear-cut provision in the law itself that assuming any balance is left, then it will be distributed as per 272. And the basic thing is that the IGST portion of the money that is to be apportioned to the state should not go to the consolidated fund of India. That was a demand from the states. Because the moment it goes to CFI, it will create a huge problem, fund flow will become an issue, it will not take place very quickly. So the reason for all the states coming together again was that you should have a clear-cut provision. If you see Article 269A, now there is a provision which says that as far as the IGST which has been utilized for payment of SGST, it will not go into CFI, and vice versa also. Because the state tax, SGST as we are calling it, it will be utilized for payment of the interstate tax, that is IGST. So it should not go to the state consolidated fund of India. The concern of the states were like this, and that is what has been so far decided. But talking about cooperative federalism, I'll just give you one example. Now see, as far as this, when this law was being drafted, there were several issues. The real concern was of the manufacturing states. The first bill, the 115 bill, talked about a kind of a tax on stock transfer and other things. One levy 1%, so that the manufacturing states gain, which was discussed in the, not in the council, but the states in the empowered committee, similar to what we have now. This empowered committee itself has now become a council. In the empowered committee, it was discussed and said that how can you have it? So the states need to come up. We cannot say that we are going to levy 1% extra just because I happen to be manufacturing something. And what I found was that all these states came together. Though there was concerns from the manufacturing states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, etc. But all were on board that yes, for the greater cause of the country, let's have it. Let us remove it. And it was finally decided in the empowered committee that we are not going to have it. So this is a sort of a thing that was agreed upon. And what I find today in the council is that whatever decision so far has been taken, whatever decision has been taken, all the states have been on board. And the basic conception that we are following today is, with regard to law or with regard to any issue, is to bring all the states together, bring everyone together. Everybody gets a chance to speak, so that if anyone has any issue, let us discuss it over here, so that if it goes to your legislature or to the parliament, yes, parliament will have the right. How can you take away that right of the parliament? Council can only recommend the certain things, but assuming it is totally unconstitutional, will the parliament sit and just watch and accept what the council has recommended? It may send it back. So that thing will always be there. That thing will remain for the state legislature also. Because the decision so far has been that let us get this law first approved. Now the real challenge is for this law itself. The law is being drafted, 2 drafts have come out, still there are some issues, there are representations from industry, there are some states concerned. All these things are being looked into one by one, and finally now it is getting vetted. But assuming something goes wrong, but yes, Parliament can always send it back. We have understood that, and I've already taken that into consideration. So that's the whole objective, is that even the SGST law, first it will be discussed in the council. Every state will be discussed. We are going to send it to all the states. The law committee is going to draft it. The council will send it to all the states. All the states' concerns have been asked. The states will be asked to please give their observation in writing. Twice it has already been done. This is the last time it will be sent to the states, maybe next week only. And the states will be asked to give their observation in writing, whatever their concern is, so that it can be taken up in the council. The whole idea of doing it, that we work together for one nation, one tax. With this, you will see, I'll give you one very fine example. There were some states which were saying that we should have checkposts. How can you stop it? We need to have checkposts. Goods come from other states. If I don't keep track of it, I lose revenue. So we need to have checkposts. Then the council said that why we are asking for checkposts? One nation, one tax. Can't we have one document for the entire country? Let's have one e-document. Let someone, whoever is transporting the goods across the country, let him upload that document. On the basis of that document, the entire movement can take place. Wherever he wants to go, it will be free. We don't need checkposts. If you want something, you can think about putting some devices, say RFID, type of a device. Maybe if we need it. But why do we need checkposts? And amazingly, I saw most of the states agreeing, yes, if it can be done, it's quite good. Let us think about it. And the states were of the view that yes, we should put it in the law so that there is one document for the entire country. Otherwise, you see today how the movement takes place. Every state have one sort of a document or the other. Permit there, waybill here. E-Sugam there, some document there. So these sort of things creates distortion. And coming to the last point, I would like to say, see, there is no chance as far as I am concerned. Hypothetically, yes, for the states deviating from any of the legal provisions or from the rate of tax. Because you see, on the same tax base, both the center and the state is going to levy the tax. Assuming in Bengal, I decide that the rate of, say, the standard rate has been fixed for 12 and 18. 12 and 18. Can Bengal decide and say that I will either raise the tax to 14 or say I'll make it 10? The moment I do it, center is not going to change the rate. So what happens in Bengal, if a person goes to buy this pen and the cost is say 100 rupees, the rate should be 12. Now the rate will become, rate 12 means what? 6 for the center, 6 for me. Right? Understood? Now can Bengal say that I'll make it 7? In Bihar it may be 6 plus 6. So the person is going to pay the tax, he is going to question what is going on. What is going on? If the CGST is going to be levied at 6% in your state and SGST is going to be levied at a rate higher than that, how it is feasible, how it is going to work? CST didn't work because of, see, the real problem today for the state is because of CST. What is happening? Most of the sales that take place today, even the local sales being shown as interstate sales, because of the 2% benefit, 2% is the tax for CST. The real distortion creeps in because of that only. If the rate across the country remains the same, then I see distortions going away. Why create distortion unnecessarily playing with the rates? And why play with the rates when the states are assured of compensation for 5 years? Why play with the rates? What for? I am assured for the compensation for 5 years, so why should I play for it? Why should I go for any other rate? What the council has agreed upon, I see no logic. I see no logic. Why should I do it? Hypothetically, yes, I can do it. But I don't see any merit in it that the states will deviate. As far as the other provisions are concerned, again, see, now some of the states, if they decide to do away with some provision as such, I don't know what will happen. It has not yet been discussed. But the real issue is what will happen if, say, from 1st of July, some state doesn't come in. Most of the states should come, almost all the states should come. But if one state doesn't come, the real catch is what? See, you will be compensated from the day GST is introduced in the country. So 5 years will be counted not from the day when the states decide to come. The day GST is introduced in the country for 5 years will be counted from that day. So that's the real catch that the best council could have done. And the council has taken a decision that yes, we should do that. So that if some states can delay, but delayed by how much? Maximum how much you have? 15th September is the last date. What you will do after that? If you don't come from 1st July, delayed by 3 months, but your 5 years will be counted from 1st July. So that's the decision of the council. So basically, I don't see any reason to deviate. I don't see any reason. Now coming back to the disputes, the interstate disputes between center and the state, between one state and the other. So far as the disputes arising from the statute is concerned, we have taken care of it in a way that we are creating an appellate tribunal at national level as well as state level. That national level tribunal, if you see 279A, there is a clause which says that as far as for the dispute mechanism, the council will recommend. So the appellate tribunal at national level that is being created, it is for this purpose only. For example, place of supply issue, if it arises, who is going to settle it? You cannot get it resolved in a state bench. So you need a national bench for it. And so far again the decision has been that for the national bench also we will have regional benches. So that to resolve all these interstate disputes and disputes between center and the states. So my friends, what I see, and being a part of the team so far and being a member of the committee drafting law also, what I see is so far all the states are on board. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I'm not a constitutional expert, but I see things as it arises, and I see that most of the states, almost all the states, even Tamil Nadu, say, was against GST, but you will find Tamil Nadu participating in every debate in the council and coming up with real solutions. They are the one who suggest such solutions also. So today the council is going on like this, and so far all the decisions have been unanimous decisions, barring one, which was with regard to, you saw, but there was no, it was only a note of dissent from our side, which was for the distribution, that 90%, 10% decisions, the horizontal division of the assessees, up to 1.5 crore and beyond that. Only a note of dissent was given by us. Apart from that, on all the decisions so far, it has been that everybody was on board, and it has been a unanimous decision. Thank you. Yes, sir.
We have sufficient time.
Oh, I have time? Yes.
Yeah, we have sufficient time now.
No, yes, rather I would like to interact. Instead of me speaking from here, it would be better to interact.
Regarding the GST being a new law specifically for the state of West Bengal, which means for states who are administering the VAT perspective and not the GST perspective, and not the service tax.
Yes.
So how do the states see that as an issue, and how to resolve that issue? What are the states doing on that aspect?
You see, as far as when you're talking about goods and services, don't try to disassociate anyone from the other. Now both of these things comes together. See, states, if you talk about, take for example, works contract. There was a supply of goods involved as well as there was a supply of service. So saying that the states doesn't know anything about service. Now most of the things works contract, for example, again restaurant services. What Article 366(29)(a) says? It's a deemed sale of goods, right? Together with the service. Now that is the only place where I find in the constitution which says that apart from the goods, where service together form the part of the deemed sale of goods. Am I right? So it was the prerogative of the states. The center started levying service tax on that also. So there was a distrust. Many days I have found states fighting with the center. Why you are levying tax on the restaurant when it's our prerogative? So talking about, see, goods and services don't look like that. It always comes together, and we should not now think about goods or service. So basically, what is the thing? What is the important thing? What do you know? What do you need to know more about services? Yes, there are certain complexities